Next up, we're going to dive into the world of economics and explore the fascinating topic of inflation, specifically the Conference Board's prediction that it will fall to 2% by mid-2026. I'm your host, and today we're joined by a newcomer to the world of economics who's eager to learn more about this complex subject. So let's get started. The Conference Board's forecast seems overly optimistic, don't you think? I mean, they're basically saying that inflation will magically drop to 2% in just a couple of years, despite the potential long-term effects of the Trump administration's policies on the economy.
Yeah. I'm not sure I understand. What do you mean by stagflation? Is that like a combination of stagnation and inflation? Right? And how does that relate to the Trump administration's policies?
Exactly. Stagflation is a period of high inflation combined with stagnant economic growth and high unemployment. It's like a perfect storm of economic woes. Now, the Conference Board's prediction ignores the potential long-term effects of the Trump administration's policies, such as tariffs and deportations, which could lead to a prolonged period of stagflation.
Oh, I see. So you're saying that these policies could, disrupt the economy and lead to higher prices and lower growth. How does that work exactly? Can you give me an example?
Well, think of it like this. When tariffs are imposed on imported goods, it's like a tax on those goods. This can lead to higher prices for consumers, which is inflationary. At the same time, if businesses are unsure about the future of trade policies, they may delay investments, leading to stagnant economic growth.
Okay. That makes sense, I think. But what about the Conference Board's prediction that policymakers will trim the federal funds rate by a quarter point at its July, September, and December meetings this year? Doesn't that suggest that they're expecting inflation to come under control?
Great question. While it's true that the Federal Reserve has been trying to push down inflation to 2%, the latest data suggests that their efforts have stalled. In fact, the Producer Price Index and consumer prices have both risen recently, which could indicate that inflation is more stubborn than expected.
Whoa, really? So you're saying that the Fed's efforts to control inflation might not be working as planned? What does that mean for the economy? Are we heading towards a recession or something?
Well, it's too early to say for sure, but if inflation remains high and economic growth slows down, it could lead to a situation where the Fed has to make some tough choices. They might need to raise interest rates to combat inflation, which could slow down the economy even further.
I see. This is all so complicated. Can you give me an analogy to help me understand? How does this relate to, say, a business or something?
Sure thing. Think of the economy like a car. The Fed is like the driver, trying to steer the car towards a stable destination, in this case, low inflation and steady growth. But if the Trump administration's policies are like roadblocks or speed bumps, it can make it harder for the driver to reach that destination. And if the car starts to overheat, that's like inflation getting out of control. The driver might need to take drastic measures to cool it down.
I think I get it now. So it's like a delicate balancing act between controlling inflation and keeping the economy growing. What do you think is the most likely scenario for the next few years?
Well, that's the million-dollar question.